Hi there, it's Kaizen, and I'm hoping that this video ages pretty well too, because today we're going to be going over the biggest losers and winners of patch 8.11 that sees a lot of duelist changes as well as some adjustments to Clove. We'll be seeing all these changes go live June 11th, which will be also available for pro play. But first, we have to say that the biggest winners are Reyna Mains out there. So let me be the first one to congratulate Team Heretics and Miniboo for winning Champions 2024. Of course, I'm joking, I'm not trying to jinx anybody. I'm mainly saying this because Neon has buffs on top of buffs. We'll start with her high gear, aka her slide. First off, no movement while sliding, which is something that the community has been speculating for a while, as well as no reduction in speed when it comes to strafing, a 30% increase in max sprint speed, 2 slide charges with the second one being only 150 credits. Only 150 credits. Wow. And now it only takes 20 seconds for her sprint fuel to fill up. And we're not done yet either. There's only a 0.2 equip time coming out of the slide as well. All of this is just for Neon's signature ability, which she gets one charge of for free. All I can see is that shorties and judges are going to be back in business, at least for ranked play for sure. I think in pro play, it's going to take a little bit for teams to adjust for this change if they want to adapt to a Neon comp. But I would not be surprised if we see Raze's pick rate be decreased from Masters Shanghai and Masters Madrid compared to Champs 2024. The relay bolt only has one charge now, but that's only because it got a slight buff with it only taking 0.8 seconds to wind up, and the concuss duration increased to 3.5 seconds as well. Now, for me personally, I think concussions and stuns are cosmetic abilities because we've seen a lot of people do crazy things while concussed. But it's still nice to have this buff if you are a Neon player. You just got to be a little bit more aware and pick your times to use it better since you only have one charge of this. So if you know you have someone stunned, go for a Ferrari peek to really mess up their crosshair placement. And now Neon's fast lane, aka her wall, only lasts for 4 seconds, but the dissolve duration increased a little bit as well. Basically, it takes a little bit longer for it to disintegrate from the starting point all the way to the ending. Overall, get ready to tell your friends who are Raze and maybe even Jet mains to learn how to b-hop, buddy. Me personally, I think Neon's b-hopping isn't only cool to see, but it's pretty fun to do as well. And now for the biggest loser. This might come as a shock to some people, but I'm going with Reyna. I know. However, these are just my initial reactions. I could be wrong in the long term. But there are a couple of reasons why I think Reyna is the biggest loser in these changes. One of which is the fact that it was kind of hinted to us earlier in the year that the changes to Reyna will be affecting team play. I don't really see that here. Unless the goal was for players to pick Reyna less and thereby picking an agent whose abilities help the team a lot more. Which is why I think Reyna's pick rate might decrease a little bit, but again, I don't think it will be anything crazy like Astra or Chamber, but you may see a little bit less of them in my opinion. And that's mainly because of the changes to Reyna's heal. I know whenever I start to D-rank like crazy, I usually just insta-lock Reyna and aim diff the people that I know I'm better at until I get back to my hard-stuck elo rank. And I think you kind of have to admit that decreasing Reyna's heals by 50 HP is quite similar to the time when the devs nerfed Sage's self-heal, right? And it was so massive that you just did not see battle Sages anymore. I do want to mention that it only takes 2 seconds to get this 50 HP, as well as the fact that there's no timer restriction to it. And because of this, you could say that there is a situational buff in a sense where you can now maybe buy half shields more, get a kill, heal up, and now you basically have a full shield if you didn't take too much damage. However, like I said, that's very situational, and if you're a nerd like me anyways and you pay attention to your economy, you're probably doing this quite often as Reyna already. I also think that the changes to the dismiss may feel nice since you're going faster, even though the duration of it has decreased. So you have to be really quick and decisive with where you want to go. The biggest buff without a doubt is to Empress, aka Reyna's ult. It's now permanent, meaning that you can just pop it at the beginning of a round and have it for the rest of it until you either win it or get eliminated. And this is the part where a lot of people are saying that this is an overall buff to Reyna's kit. But I have to challenge you guys, how often do you actually see Reyna get her ult per half? Like each half that you are playing. I personally see Reyna's get it like 2 to 3 times per half, maybe 4 if they're really farming the ultimate orbs. But even then, there are other characters whose ultimate abilities are better in my opinion. And plus, just because a character's ultimate ability is great doesn't mean that their overall kit is amazing. Look at Deadlock. She has a fantastic ultimate ability, but the rest of her kit is kind of meh. Again, I don't think Reyna pick rate will fall drastically hard here, but you will start to see less of them in the future. I think it's safe to say that Clove has the best self-heal in the game, better than Reyna's and Sage's, and you could even make an argument that Clove may just have the best healing in general. The only person that could kind of challenge her is Skye, since Skye can heal multiple people at the same time, but only to 100 HP. Next, I want to talk about Raze, who's also a loser, mainly because she only saw nerfs and nothing else. Her satchels will no longer damage or knock back up enemies if they are the ones who break them. Also, the horizontal velocity, aka the x-axis, basically the movement that is left to right and not up and down, will be slowed, which kind of sucks, and the audio can be heard from further distance as well. I've seen some people like Rem test this out, and there's a noticeable difference according to them, but I don't think it's enough to say that Raze will be dead, right? Nothing near Astra or Chambers pick rates. She will still be playable because she has a lot of utility that can break Sentinel's abilities, like Cyphers and KJs. And when it comes to diving onto site, Raze is a little bit like a jack of all trade. All she's missing is a flash. You may not be able to go further into sites, but you still have a boombot and nade to take up space. One of the devs did say during the Plat Chat interview that this only really affects those satchel movements that covers a large distance.
Could you using those kind of examples, what has shifted here that is either harder or not possible to do anymore?
Yeah, so ones like that where you're kind of not actually going that far, you'll still probably be able to do pretty decent ones, like the split A ones. It basically just means each satchel pushes you less quickly, but only in the horizontal direction.
So that also means that the overall distance that you can cover is lower as well. So like the absolutely bonkers satchels, for example, like some people can go from the spawn barrier basically on Ascent to Generator. I don't know how they're managing to do that, accessing some hidden movement tech, but those kind of ones where it's like max distance, those will kind of be snuffed by this.
Yeah, the ones like the top gen to the double stack box are definitely much harder and maybe impossible to do now. Those were actually, we were looking at those examples in terms of like, hey, like, how do these stack up to kind of do the tuning of the ability? The total reduction is like around 20%. Yeah, and I want to set expectations here. Even with 20% reduced, it is by no means slow on a site exec. It's not like, the util hell is raining down on you if you didn't fight for any staging space and reduce all that stuff. Like, kind of drain the enemy util. If you're getting exec done and Raze is flying past you, you're gonna know it's happening, but it's still gonna be difficult to deal with. At least has been our experience internally.
So you should still be able to get onto A and B site with your satchels, and then maybe you can use your boombot or nade to take even more space. And another winner that I want to mention is ISO, who can now activate his signature ability, which is a mini shield around him without getting a kill. And I think the animation for it is pretty cool looking too. However, he only has one charge, but the time can refresh and can get it back with 2 kills though. Overall, I think this is a pretty good change and makes ISO more fun and less stressful to play, especially for people who already main him or are thinking about playing him. I don't think this is going to drastically increase his pick rate. However, you can use him against ops too, since he can take that initial shot, as well as Raze ultimates. Lastly, we have Clove, who got nerfs again, but nothing too crazy. It was probably needed too, since this character has the highest win rate and second highest pick rate. The heals now cost 200 credits, and the duration of it decreased to 8 seconds. The ultimate now costs 8 points, and the unequipped time has increased to 0.8 seconds. Again, these changes aren't anything too big. If anything, this just means that you will be buying metal, aka Clove's decay, a lot less if you find yourself in an economy trouble. Also, my inner nerd who likes Valorant's lore wants to say that the devs decided to pick the number 8 so often for Clove because it looks so much similar to an hourglass, but of course that would be kind of far-fetched, and if anything, it's just a happy coincidence. But you guys let me know down below how you feel about these changes. Do you think we're going to be living in a neon meta soon, or is nothing going to really change? Till next time, stay safe, and I'll be yapping in the next one.